is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are so.
It is a beautiful day in the Big Apple, and boy, it's been a great weekend for the Braves. And on this Father's Day, Major League Baseball supports the Home Run Challenge and prostate cancer awareness. The Braves have a chance to sweep the Mets. Boy, what a great game last night. Braves won 4-3. Let's see if they can head to Miami with a very long winning streak of 5 straight games. Happy Father's Day, partner. Chip and Joe with you from New York. What a game won by the Braves yesterday. Arguably the most exciting game of the year for this Atlanta team.
It was a great game. Played really well by all facets of the Braves after trailing 3-0. I think things really got heated earlier on a play like this where Terry Pendleton was complaining about a balk. He actually got thrown out of the game. That seemed to fire up the troops. Jeff Francoeur takes Steven Matz deep, way deep, to get things going. Later on, Tyler Flowers, a game-tying first-pitch homer off of Jim Henderson, so the Braves were back in the ball game. Great comeback. And then it pretty much became the Ender Inciarte show. In the 8th inning, he led off with a double, and then when Curtis Granderson took him for granted, he tagged up and went to third anyway, and on a ball that didn't even get to the grass after it got through the catcher, he scored, and I mean, he lit up that dugout. Ball club hung on for the win, and it was an exciting win for Atlanta, given that they threw out the potential tying run at home plate in the bottom of the ninth. A great relay from Inciarte to Ibar to Flowers.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you get to shake hands, as the Braves won last night 4-3, and today they send Julio Teheran to the mound. Who better to try to complete the sweep than the Braves right-hander?
Julio's pitching great. He's been plagued by lack of run support. He's also been plagued by some home runs. Today he'll try to keep it in the ballpark and hope that somehow the Braves have saved a few runs for him.
You know, though, he's going to be facing a man who will pitch an inspired game today. For Jacob deGrom celebrates not only his birthday today, but his first Father's Day.
Yeah, and he'd like to celebrate with a win himself because he's had a long stretch where he has not picked up a win all the way back to late April.
So it's Teheran and deGrom on Father's Day Sunday in New York. We'll get clubhouse reactions from all the Braves on the remarkable base-running exploits of Ender Inciarte when we continue from New York next.
right stuff, low price, every day.
Welcome back to a beautiful day here in New York for Game 3 of the Braves versus the Mets as the Braves tried to go for the sweep over the Mets. And it was a great game last night. Good to see a lot of different guys contributing. You had Tyler Flowers and Jeff Francoeur, both with home runs, and Aaron Blair with a quality start, which was really important to see. But the story of the day was Ender Inciarte. We've seen him contributing at the plate recently, but yesterday the relay throw to throw the runner out at home was a thing of beauty. Then he scored the go-ahead run, which eventually would win the game. And the biggest thing is that he got this team and this dugout fired up like we haven't seen so far this season. And I went into the clubhouse earlier and got their reaction on how everything went down.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, those two, gutsy heads-up base running things that he did, and it was the perfect time to take a chance and do that. You tied, we came back, getting ready to face the back end of their bullpen. So I thought that was, huge.
Ender took advantage of a play that's routine and was able to make a run, and we won the game ultimately. I mean, him getting the third right there and then him scoring on that pass ball, the energy in the dugout was unbelievable. It almost brought me back to football mentality. It was like a football energy. Everybody was pumped up in the dugout, and it was huge. And right there, it changed the game, and we were able to come out and beat them. And now we have a chance to sweep the Mets, and it's huge. And I mean, I can't even explain how much energy it brought, and I think it's real good things going on right now in the clubhouse.
Your Atlanta Braves going for the series sweep over the New York Mets with Julio Teheran on the mound. We have starting lineups and first pitch with Chip and Joe coming up right after the break.
On Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Once again, happy Father's Day as we join you from New York. It's a beautiful afternoon for baseball. Hardly a cloud in the sky above Citi Field as the Braves try to win their 5th straight and sweep the homestanding New York Mets. They line up with Conforto, Cespedes, and Granderson left to right in the outfield. Flores and Loney on the infield corners. Asdrubal Cabrera at short, Neil Walker at second, and Kevin Plawecki will catch the pitches of the man with the great moss, Jacob deGrom, celebrating his 28th birthday today.
6'4", 180 out of DeLand, Florida, and Stetson University. Was a 9th-round pick back in 2010. Got off to a tremendous start with a lot of run support. But, folks, he hasn't won a game since April 30th. His last 5 starts over that 8-game stretch, you see very little run support, and that was really indicative of his last start against Pittsburgh. 6 innings, he only gave up 2 runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, but he got beat 4-0. So he's not pitching that badly. He's just had a few breaks go against him, kind of like some of the Braves starting pitchers.
Including Julio Teheran, who's got the ball today. Let's hope Atlanta saves some runs for him as Malik Smith will lead things off for Atlanta. Again, 4 left-handed hitters at the top of the order for Brian Snitker. Tyler Flowers hit a home run last night. Darno, Ibar, and Teheran hit 7th, 8th, and 9th.
You see all of the light blue trim on all the uniforms today, both Braves and Mets, in recognition of prostate cancer awareness here on Father's Day. And I echo Chip's sentiments. Happy Father's Day to everyone, including my dad back in Norman, Oklahoma.
So DeGrom ready to go, and we're underway with a quick strike to Malik Smith. .86 degrees officially here in New York as DeGrom turns it loose and just missed. Blown away. 1-1 is your count. Malik's batting in the leadoff spot for the 6th straight game. He scored 6 runs and has stolen 5 bases in that stretch. And you can see how carefully the Mets are trying to pitch him. He's been a busy man on the base paths in this series.
I got to say, Chip, that I'm as excited for this ball game as I have been all season long, because the Braves have been having their struggles all season, as everybody knows, but they've won 4 in a row, and they did it in such dramatic fashion last night. They were so fired up. I'm really anxious to see how they come out today.
No swing, and Malik's works a full count. Well, the players that rode to the ballpark with us on the bus were still buzzing about the game last night. And in a sport where the mantra is, well, we turn the page and worry about today's game now, yesterday's gone, there is still very much a positive hangover in that locker room after what took place.
It's a huge carryover, and every guy was talking about the energy in the dugout, bouncing off each other after Inciarte scored that run.
Malik Smith is called out on strikes. He thought it was low and outside. But DeGrom has his first strikeout of the day, and there's out number 1.
He's got good fastball when he's down in the zone. This is down in the zone. Looked like a good pitch. 91 to 93 on his fastball with an excellent curve, slider, and changeup. He has not given up a run in the first inning in any of his last 6 starts.
Well, here's the man of the hour, Ender Inciarte. Ender's 3 for 8 in the series. His average climbing to 235 now. With all the talk about how aggressively and successfully he ran the bases last night, that relay play the Braves turned in the 9th inning was a thing of beauty.
It ought to be on all the videos for clinics and how to do it.
So Fred McGriff, if you're watching the game, tell your pal Tommy Mansky that was a perfect relay play that Atlanta turned in. And that really sums up the way things have gone for the Mets. They're desperate to score runs. There was nobody out in the inning when they tried to score Wilmer Flores on that play.
Yeah, with the heart of their order coming up.
There's the Mets skipper, Terry Collins. New York at 36 and 31 on the year.
The thing I loved about what Ender did when he tagged up and went from 2nd to 3rd last night was that he basically said, don't take me for granted. When Granderson caught the line drive from Francoeur, he kind of nonchalanted the throw in. Well, don't take me for granted that I'm not still going to try to go to 3rd base. He did, and it was, again, it was just kind of electrified the whole team.
I loved your conversation with Braves radio man Jim Powell about that game last night. And Jim's comment I thought was a good one, and yours too. If you just play better baseball than the other team, you at least give yourself a chance to win the game.
Yeah, it's only a couple of 3 plays normally that make a difference.
Little pop. Left side of the diamond and playable. That's the second out. Wilmer Flores with the grab. And Inciarte is down for Freddie Freeman.
Braves got a lot of hits off DeGrom in Atlanta back in April. He won the game 3-2, but he only pitched into the 6th inning and gave up 8 hits. But he didn't walk anybody to complicate matters.
That was another emotional day for DeGrom, as that one's cracked toward the right field corner by Freeman on the first pitch. That'll ricochet off the fence. Freddie's on his way to second, and he's going to stand in with a 2-out double. So Freeman continues his red hot stretch. 15 hits in his last 31 at bats now.
Breaking ball that was up. I was talking about keeping his fastball down. They wanted that to be a backdoor breaking ball, but right in his wheelhouse. Fortunate Freddie didn't hit that out of the ballpark. And is he swinging it good?
14th double for Freeman. Let's see if Markakis can bring him home with a 2-out hit. Braves had a lot of those on Friday night. And a strike. That missed a corner. And that start in Atlanta that DeGrom made was his first start back after his newborn son Jackson left the hospital. Had some breathing issues shortly after he was born. That's all cleared up. So limited innings for Jacob DeGrom. And now today, DeGrom pitching on his birthday and his first Father's Day.
Well, I don't know what's happened to Jacob DeGrom. Maybe it's the New York media. I don't know, because we as a group tried to talk to Jacob prior to the start.
Little flare hit towards short will end the inning.
And we were unsuccessful. We'll talk more about that in the next half inning.
Freeman picks up the first Atlanta hit. Julio Teheran will go to work. With the top of the Mets order coming up, scoreless. Teheran, boy, has he been good.
Yeah, he has. He makes his 15th start today, and he's even been better on the road than at home. Even though his home ERA is pretty good, it's even better at 2.55 on the road. And just
Strikes.
You might remember that Julio's last start against the Reds, he gave up a 3-run homer in the first to Jay Bruce. He then set down 17 in a row and 18 out of 19. But his teammates couldn't pull it out for him. He got beat 3-1. 1 walk, 8 strikeouts in 7 innings.
That's headed for the seats. And Granderson is still alive. You said it earlier this year, if there's a better 2-7 pitcher in baseball, I'd like to know who it is.
There's not.
Julio's allowed 3 or fewer runs in 12 of his first 14 starts, 2 or fewer in 8 of those games, and he's won just 2. Popped him up. Bright sunny skies right side of the diamond. Who wants it? And the catch made by Jace Peterson. Granderson pops out. That's how the day starts for Terry Collins' Mets, who have Asdrubal Cabrera batting second at short. Yoenis Cespedes, their center fielder, will bat third. Walker, Loney, and Flores. Conforto really slumping, hitting 7th. Plawecki 8th, and DeGrom, of course, the pitcher, hits 9th. Asdrubal Cabrera at 268. Showed bunt and took a strike. Cabrera is riding a 10-game hitting streak against the Braves. He scored 6 runs in those 10 games. It's been a tough out. And this one's popped up. Ibar on the left side, battling the sun. And the Braves shortstop makes the play. Better have your shades on today. It's tough for the infielders and the outfielders with a high sky. 2 pop-ups.
Right above them, too. You look at the shadows. Shadows are right under each guy, so anytime they look up in the sun up for a pop-up, they're looking right up into it. Good off-speed pitch there. Breaking ball from Julio for the out.
Yoenis Cespedes is hitting .284 with 17 homers. Three-man shift on the left side of the infield for Cespedes, who takes a strike.
Big Father's Day crowd here. Huge.
Another pop-up, and that's out of play. Here's what Cespedes did last night.
One of the guys that helped stake them to a 3-0 lead. Got a hanging breaking ball from Aaron Blair. It's his 17th homer.
And some rare good fortune for Cespedes here at Citi Field. He's hitting .171 in his last 10 games in his home park. And he got a wake-up call with that one. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Aaron Blair was the Braves starter yesterday. 6 innings, a 5-hit ball. Did give up the 3 runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. 82 pitches for Aaron in his 6 innings of work.
of playing catch with Dad was we would always come home Sunday from church and have like a little brunch, and then me, my brother, and my dad would just load up the car, his old 1984 Caprice Classic, and head to Mountain Park, and we'd stay out there for 3 hours just playing catch, and my dad would throw BP to us, hit ground balls, and then, you know, if I started complaining, you know, while my dad was throwing, honestly, he would just hit me. You know, but those are some of the best times. And I remember actually 2 years ago, we were at the beach, and right before it came to spring, and me and Dad went out and threw in the backyard. And I got to be a little easier on him now. I can't throw quite as hard. You know, he's getting up there in age, but you know, it's the best thing in the world.
He's right. He's right. And I know his dad's at home a little choked up listening to that.
Tyler Flowers leads off for the Braves. He had a home run here last night that got things tied up. And he's behind 0-2. I'm sure this is a special day for Jeff as well. Got 2 beautiful children. His wife, Katie, spending the weekend with him here in New York. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. One of the best parts of this job is seeing these young men come to the major leagues, just trying to figure out life in general, and then they get some success going in the big leagues. They grow into men, they get married, they have kids of their own, and that maturity process and how that torch gets passed along, it's just great.
No doubt, no question about it. All the dads are mighty proud of the fact that their sons were good enough to play in the major leagues. Whether it was 1 day or 10 years, doesn't matter. The fact that any of them played in the big leagues, great sense of pride. But the fact that they grow up to be such good people is more important and more of a source of pride.
Tyler Flowers, 2 hits in the series. And popped out a play foul to keep the at-bat alive. DeGrom threw 18 pitches in the first inning. Couple of deep counts. Braves are working him over so far here in the second. Never a bad idea to get this guy's pitch count up. And I personally think the last 2 days here in New York, we have seen as good an approach from an offensive club all year long. Patiently aggressive, if that's something that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't finish my thought on DeGrom rather, last half inning, but something's happened to this guy in terms of his relationship with the media, because he refused any interview requests from our people, and everybody went about it in the right way, going through the right channels with the Mets PR and doing it in advance, even starting Friday, trying to talk to him about today's start so that nothing interfered with his preparation for today's game. But I'm told it's not really Mets PR that's holding everybody off at arm's length. It's Jacob deGrom. And nobody knows exactly why, but he doesn't want to talk to anybody. And that includes a lot of the Mets people.
That's one sure way to find yourself in a very bad place with the press in New York. When things aren't going the way you like them to and you don't want to talk to them, but if you win a game, you're happy to speak. That's not right.
No, it's not. And he's been the darling of the New York press for 2 years. And I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, everybody tells me he's such a good person that something must have happened. Somebody had to have burned him somehow, at least in his view, where he's just pretty much stonewalled everybody. And that's unfortunate, because we think he's terrific. We've seen enough of him to know how good he is. And he's a guy from Stetson University, so we're certainly fond of that school and that part of Braves country.
2 balls and a strike for Jace Peterson, who takes low. Jace had his 7-game hitting streak snapped last night. He had a pinch hit appearance, but he's 9 for his last 26 at the plate since coming back from Gwinnett. Had a good rip at that one, fouled it straight back, but again, a deep count.
Yeah, and you're talking about those good at bats. It goes to guys like Jace, who was having a real hard time when he was sent to Gwinnett. He's come back with a much better approach. Behind in the count, he's not trying to pull everything. He's not hitting nearly as many rollover ground balls to the right side.
Popped up left side. Flores near the tarp. Did he make the play? Yes, he did. What an incredible catch by Wilmer Flores.
Holy smokes. Their tarp has a little gap between the wall and the tarp itself. He almost fell right down in between it all. Fighting the sun. And then see ya. Wow, what a catch.
So eat your heart out, Vince Coleman. The Mets have a killer tarp too. But Flores hangs on with an incredible backhanded grab. And now Chase Darno with the drive toward right. Curtis Granderson won't get there. It's a foul ball. And strike one.
All things included here. The range he had to go, fighting the sun and the tarp. That was gorgeous.
Right there for strike two for Chase Darno. Chase has hits in his last 4 games, but he's behind 0-2. And that's way high.
As you watch today's game, especially from our center field camera, and you watch his fastball, DeGrom's fastball, when it's down around the knees, it's got good life. It's darting in and out.
And that one's cut on and missed. 3 strikeouts for DeGrom, including 2 in the top of the 2nd inning. No score. Game 3 here in New York.
Bill's family went to Lowe's to find him the perfect.
Playing catch and doing a lot of things with my dad was being back when I was a kid. We used to play this game called head and chest. It'd be 2 points for hitting each other in the chest, and 1 point for hitting each other in the head, and first one to 21 wins. And we would play that, it seems like, for hours every single day. And I think that's one of the special moments I cherish with my dad, and hopefully I can pass on to my children.
Well, how ironic. We kind of have the same game in the broadcast booth, and Joe's always quick to get to 21 points. What do you?
Yes. Yeah, we're not playing catch though.
And I know Freddie can't wait for his first official Father's Day. But baby number 1 is on the way. Everybody in Braves country is excited about that. Julio Teheran back to work after a 1-2-3 first. Neil Walker is the Mets second baseman. And he rolls over that one foul, strike 1. Folks around Mets country a little antsy right now. They're 6 games behind the Nationals. And they're very concerned about their lack of offense. Duda's out. Wright is out. Conforto is slumping. They've had numerous players battling nagging injuries. This man, though, has been a very consistent and solid performer in his first year as a Met. Neil Walker, the longtime Pirate, with 14 homers.
Miami's breathing down their neck for second place, only a half game behind them. Meanwhile, the Nationals got beat last night, so the Mets didn't lose any ground, but the Nationals have won 7 of their last 10. And have another game today in San Diego, I believe.
Yes, Gio Gonzalez and Drew Pomeranz will face off at Petco.
It's a good matchup.
Fly ball center. Enciarte makes the catch, and there's the first out. I can't imagine how hard that is to make a play like that with this sky, the wind, and this big crowd hollering at you, but Ender made it.
You just hope that you can put the ball outside the sun where you can block the sun with your glove and still track the baseball, whether it's one side of your glove or the other, doesn't matter. And then with your sunglasses knocking down all the glare to give you a chance. But if the ball is in the sun and you can't figure out a way to position your eyes in such a way to get the ball out of the sun, you got no shot.
Here's James Loney. 3 extra base hits yesterday for the Mets. He's given them some much needed offense with a 7-game hitting streak and a .292 average overall with New York. Loney was sitting around waiting for a major league job. He was in the Padres organization, and when Duda got hurt, they acquired him in a cash transaction. And if you're not careful, he will do that a time or two. But that one's well out of play. Go. Yes, sir.
Along with an improved fastball, as we saw in that 94-mile-an-hour strikeout pitch to get Cespedes in the first inning, that back foot slider to lefties has been outstanding for Julio. There it is again.
And that's a spot where he, I think, has made his greatest improvement. Remember how lefties just wore him out last year? That's not the case this season.
209 average against him.
They hit 300 against him last year. Two balls, 2 strikes for the Mets first baseman James Loney. No score. Second inning. And there it is again. Loney's down on strikes. That's 2 for Julio Teheran. And here is Wilmer Flores, who's already had an impact in this game. A remarkable pop-up catch down the third base line. And that's our Toyota key play.
Yeah, if you missed it, take a look at this. And into the sun, falling into the tarp. On the other side of the tarp. He might have been there a while if it weren't for Conforto coming over to pull him out. What a catch.
Well, they need Wilmer to pick it up. David Wright had neck surgery, a discectomy, and neck fusion surgery. Very similar to what Nick Markakis and I believe Tiger Woods went through. It's not known if David Wright's going to come back and play again for the Mets this year. They certainly hope he can. And that's a big presence in that locker room and in that lineup and at third base that the Mets are missing.
Flores has had a good month of June. He's hitting over 350 this month, so he's trying to do his part. He's moved ahead of Conforto in the batting order.
Rolled toward short. Ibar charges and throws on the run, and he gets Flores by a step. Julio is perfect through 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He'll bat second in the third. No score. And Julio Teheran is coming up second as we go to the top of the third.
And DeGrom looks sharp, as we were told he'd been pitching more like his old self, even though the results haven't been there for him.
Eric Ibar's got that average over 200. He's hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. And lost in all the heroics of Ender Inciarte last night was Ibar's throw to the plate to nail Flores in the 9th inning.
It's perfect, wasn't it? I mean, it was a clinic how to do it.
It's in for a strike. It's 1-2.
Look out, Eddie.
Yeah, he said it the other way. Now this is a happy day for Eddie. His kids are watching the game back in Atlanta. His son was drafted by the Braves. And Ibar got hit by another pitch down near the foot.
No, no, no.
He has been a magnet. That's the 5th time Ibar's been hit by a pitch. Second on the team to Freddie Freeman.
They've got the outside of the right foot. When he went on the disabled list, it was from being hit on the instep.
And Arbuckle tells us that's the 3rd time Ibar's been hit by a pitch in his last 8 games.
Well, he got nailed in the ribs by that 97-mile-an-hour pitch against the Reds. You know what's a shame? Just when you come off the disabled list, you're feeling a little fresher, rested, and hopefully for him his foot was feeling better, and he was swinging the bat better and fielding better than we had seen him in the first 2 months. So hopefully that's not something that will set him back.
Well, let's see if Julio can advance him. He's handled the bat well. He's got 5 sacrifices. And what a little message. Up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Bo Porter with the signs from the third base coaching box. A message delivered across the diamond to Ibar, who will lead from first with nobody out. Back to the mound. DeGrom will have but 1 play. Another good sacrifice for Julio. He helps himself. The Braves have their second runner at second base in the game. And now the top of the order is coming up.
You know that when DeGrom is covering on those bunts, the last thing he wants to do is actually have to throw the ball to first. He was an infielder first couple of years at Stetson, and a pretty good one, I'm told. Good shortstop.
Converted to pitcher his junior year and didn't really like it. He was their closer. They had a starting pitcher at Stetson get hurt. They put him in the rotation. And DeGrom really took off. As Malix drives 1 deep towards center. Cespedes on a dead sprint near the warning track. He's on the warning track and makes the grab. Malix crushed that pitch but hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark for the second out.
That might have been a home run at Turner Field. It's a little deeper here at 408, but he did smoke this. And this is another excellent defensive play, this time by Cespedes looking back up into the sun. Good swing by Malix.
He had his first big league homer against Matt Harvey here, you might recall.
Yeah, it was delayed.
It was the longest home run in Major League history in time. Let's see if Inciarte can pick up a 2-out hit. He's going to. That's going to drop. It's 1-0 Atlanta. Inciarte with a big turnaround first. That scores Ibar, and the Braves cash in a hit batsman. It's 1-0 here in the 3rd inning.
We like to call this Inciarte weekend here at Citi Field. It's Father's Day, but it's also Ender time. Fastball, inner third, turned on it. And Ender has his 8th RBI. He continues to have a spectacular series.
Now Freeman's up. Freddie doubled his first time. The Braves have scored first. Power against power there, and Brown got it by Freeman. 1 ball, 1 strike. Time for our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. And you know, Freddie Freeman has always enjoyed hitting the Mets.
Yeah, he just kind of picked up where Chipper left off. Most hits against the Mets since 2013. Freddie and Anderson had the most. As you would expect, it would be players from the National League East. Former players in the East.
Line drive to left. That'll get down in front of Conforto. Inciarte stops at second. Freddie Freeman's 2 for 2. All this coming with 2 outs, as we said. That's the way the series began. A lot of late inning production by the Braves offense.
It may take me a second to find it, but there are some weird numbers for DeGrom with 2 outs. Nice inside out swing there by Freddie. With 2 outs, batters have a .337 average. 3 doubles, 3 homers. This is all coming into this game today. And with runners in scoring position in 2 outs, a .333 average, 8 for 24 against him.
And they're 3 for 5 with 2 outs against him today. That is odd. It's make him pay. Markakis lined out his first time. 1-0 Braves. Up and away. Ball 1. Plawecki out for a chat.
Maybe a reminder to not to be quite so fine. He's got 2 on. He's already got a run in, and he's fallen behind 2-0 because he doesn't want to make a mistake and fire one down the middle for a cookie.
You always got to wonder with a pitcher who's going through the lack of run support like he is. Yeah. I can't give up any more.
Good point.
Behind 2-0 here. Ripped into right center field. That's down for a hit. Here comes Inciarte to score. Freeman's on his way to third. The Cespedes throw goes to third. It's late. 3 straight 2-out hits for Atlanta. It's 2-0.
Looked like a fastball. Tried to run that in and then back over the inside corner. But Nick is all over it. Boy, is that a great shot, huh? Have you noticed how, I mean, not just Inciarte, but how much more aggressive the Braves have been on the bases, too? Cespedes has a great arm, but Freddie didn't hesitate going first to third on that.
Tyler Flowers is the batter. Look, Braves aren't exactly the 1934 St. Louis Cardinals, known as the Gas House Gang. But I would think, from this standpoint, they have nothing to lose. Why not play with the gas pedal on the floor?
Yeah.
Sure has been fun to watch these last 4 games, and certainly the 2 against the Mets. 1 ball, no strikes. I like a nice stop.
Well, you might be surprised at how much plays like what Inciarte pulled off last night in the 8th inning, advancing to third, taking a chance to try and score on the ball that got under the catcher. How much confidence that instills in everybody, especially on a day like today against a tough pitcher. They've already got runs on the board, so why not cut it loose and take those chances? You don't want to play stupid and run yourself into outs, but there's a difference between that and being aggressive and taking the extra bases. Freddie did. Tell you what, that guy lit a fire under everybody last night.
Pitch that's off the plate. The bases are loaded. So all this trouble started with a hit batsman. Tehran got a sacrifice bunt down. Malik Smith almost hit a homer to center. Then Inciarte singled, Freeman singled, Markakis singled. Now Flowers walks to load the bases.
And the perfect guy at the plate for the Braves, who has had great numbers with the bases loaded. Dan Warthen is the pitching coach out to try to settle DeGrom down. .476 with the bases loaded in his career.
And 1 for 5 this year. 2 in, 2 out. And a strike. Look at all the pitches for DeGrom early in the game. Bouncing ball toward first. Loney's got it. He'll take it to the bag, and that retires the side. But Inciarte's been incendiary for the Braves the last 2 days. He sparks a 2-run rally, and Julio Teheran is up in the third.
Nothing going into the bottom of the third inning, and third baseman Adonis Garcia is not in the lineup for the third consecutive day with left ankle soreness. He is listed as day-to-day, and he was able to pinch hit last night. He did single. The Braves definitely want to get him back in there. They could see him maybe in an emergency situation, and they have an off day tomorrow, so he'll have an extra day to rest. And I also want to slide in a happy Father's Day to my dad, Greg.
All right, Kelsey. Happy Father's Day to your dad. As Julio Teheran goes to work.
Good thing she did. She's still in the will.
Right.
Okay.
That's very important. Julio could use a shutdown inning. He's got Michael Conforto coming up. A sore wrist has really put a hurting on Conforto's batting average. He has 7 hits in his last 64 times up. Made an interesting decision in the game last night. They pulled Conforto out of the game in the late innings, but it was still a very close ball game. Braves weren't minding that at all. He's a big time threat.
I think his overall struggles, especially against left-handers, really led Terry Collins to making that move.
He has 4 hits and 43 at bats against southpaws. Those struggles, he's hitting 7th for the 3rd time this year. And again, with Wright and Duda out, they need this guy to be a solid middle of the order run producer. He does have 10 homers. He does have 30 RBIs, but that came early in the season, most of that damage. 3 balls, 1 strike. And there's a shot into the gap in left center field. Inciarte got to it quickly, and Conforto aboard with the first hit of the game for the Mets. That's the kind of hit that got Freddie Freeman going. The York hopes that's the kind of hit that'll get Conforto moving.
No question about it, but a 3-1 count, and Julio didn't want to walk him. Made a pitch that had a lot more of the plate than he would have liked, and the result was a base hit, but that's better than a walk.
Here's Kevin Plawecki, the Mets catcher. The next time we see New York, which will be next Thursday at home, Travis d'Arnaud will likely be back behind the plate. D'Arnaud's been battling a right rotator cuff issue.
Fastball. Right in on his thumbs.
Julio has real good stuff today. 32 pitches, 23 strikes so far. And a swing and a miss. Plawecki was reaching, didn't get it. 3 strikeouts for Julio. And that'll bring up Jacob deGrom.
That was a nasty breaking ball. Mercy.
I really like that angle. And this one too.
Good slider. The one I'm really enjoying watching today that we don't see very much is this one. I mean, you're really almost positioned right behind the umpire.
Don't let that 1 for 16 fool you. deGrom can swing the bat. Again, a former college shortstop. Telling the story about how deGrom was not very heavily scouted in his early days at Stetson because he wasn't a great hitter in college. When they put him on the mound, that opened eyes, especially in a game he pitched against Florida Gulf Coast University. He faced off with a guy named Chris Sale in that game and hit a home run against him. And as you mentioned, he was a 9th round pick. The 272nd player picked in that draft. Point being, you don't have to rely on number ones to find really good players, and the Mets found a diamond in the rough in Jacob deGrom.
Well, if he had a home run off Chris Sale, I don't care when it was. He's got my attention.
He lifts that one deep toward left, but the park is going to hold it. Alex Smith on the warning track makes the grab. Hardest hit ball by the Mets today comes from their pitcher Jacob deGrom, who hears it from the crowd, but he's the second out. Conforto at first with 2 outs. 2-0 Braves have the lead.
What a great first pitch. You mentioned earlier that Granderson likes to ambush pitches in certain situations, especially leading off a game, but that was a great curveball to start him in this sequence with a runner on.
Off the plate for an even count. Curtis had an 8-game hitting streak end yesterday. He popped out to second his first time up today.
Another good one.
2 of them.
Tell you what, the Mets have seen a few good curveballs from the Braves in this series. John Gant the other night, 6 2/3 innings of 2-hit, 1-run ball. He had a good one working.
In the air, shallow center. Inciarte got an excellent jump, and that takes care of Granderson and the Mets, who pick up their first and only hit in the game. Julio has his shutdown frame and leads by 2.
Sherwin-Williams, your local Ford dealer. And Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
That's Atlantic Field over in Brooklyn, New York, where they pay homage to the old Brooklyn Atlantics, who were organized in 1855 and soon became one of the premier teams of their era. They were national champions in 1864 and 1865 and were undefeated in both seasons. And yes, back then, the hitter could call for the location of the pitch, and it was often underhanded. Those guys in the Recreation League play without gloves. The old Brooklyn Atlantics once played the Cincinnati Reds, the first professional team. As this one's popped up on the infield, let's see how the Mets handle it. No problem for Walker, 1 out. And they beat the undefeated Cincinnati Red Stockings 8-7 for their first ever loss.
It appeared there that in that old-time baseball that they had beer in aluminum cans too.
I don't know how that happened, but I mean,
I thought that was a relatively modern convenience, but apparently not.
Maybe they were just very small milk jugs, milk cans. Maybe they found a way to miniaturize them.
Maybe. That's wonderful. I bet those guys have a great time.
I don't know how the first 9 innings go, but I have a pretty good idea how the 10th would go.
Yes.
Let's see if Eric Ibar can avoid getting plunked. He was hit by a pitch leading off the 3rd inning and scored the first run for the Braves today. It's great that our producer Brian Woodrum was able to come up with that footage over in Brooklyn. Somewhat apropos, 1846, the first organized baseball game was played on this date. The New York Knickerbockers versus the New York 9. Played under the double-day rules of baseball. This one's hit toward Loney. Nice play arranging to his right, and look at that beautiful throw. James Loney is still an excellent first baseman.
Boy, that is a tough feed when you're going away from the bag and then backpedaling as you make the throw to be this accurate. That was nicely done. The defense for the Mets today has been pretty darn good.
Two outs quickly for Julio Teheran, who lines one to second, and DeGrom had an easy inning. He really needed one. A handful of pitches for DeGrom, who's headed to the bottom of the fourth inning, trailing by 2.
Your local Hyundai dealers.
Hope you're enjoying Father's Day Sunday as much as we are in New York. With my partner Joe Simpson, with Kelsey Wingert, and the rest of our great Fox Sports crew. Chip Carey with you from Citi Field, where Julio Teheran is twirling a gem.
Hey, while we have a second here and Julio completes his warm-ups, it wouldn't be right with us for us not to talk about fathers that we miss, including yours. And I know it's always a tough day on Father's Day, but I miss Skip, I miss Pete, who's a great dad, and Ernie Sr., of course. All those guys very instrumental for all of us, mentors, second dads, third dads, whatever the case might be. I miss them every day.
You're not the only one. Well, you know, they're watching this one, probably holding a couple of those miniature milk cans as we get started with the home fourth. Julio Teheran has the 2, 3, and 4 men coming up for the Mets.
Something tells me your dad's probably got a milk can. Yeah, it's got a little beef eater in it.
Pretty good chance. Fly ball foul off the bat of Cabrera. That's headed for the seats. 2-1. It is a warm day, a little more humid this afternoon than it has been the first 2 days here in New York. And what wind there is, it looks like it's blowing from the right field foul pole out toward left. Alex Smith has hit a deep fly ball. DeGrom has hit a deep fly ball. But nobody's circled the bases with a home run yet.
Talking about that first game played under the Doubleday rules in 1846, did you say? Knickerbockers and the New York Nine. Wouldn't you love to have them here to get a reaction to what we're watching today? And in this ballpark, we got a big league game here today being played in New York with a giant crowd. Tough to beat.
Another pop-up. Who wants it? And Ciarte takes over. And there's the first out of the fourth inning. On Father's Day, we're participating in the Home Run Challenge to benefit prostate cancer research. Going into the final day, $1,775,000 has been raised, and you can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. Yeah, that's something I would love to do if we could.
Gosh, that's
to quote the great John Bon Jovi in those commercials, if we could turn back time.
Go back. That was Cher.
Well, she had a.
Okay.
I like Bon Jovi's version better,
I
personally.
understand.
But would you love to go back and see what Cy Young pitched like and how those early games were played? Back in the old days of baseball, it wasn't 60 feet 6 inches from the plate. You could throw the ball 55 feet away, almost get a running start to make a pitch, kind of like cricket. But baseball was not nearly as hard as it is now. Used the same ball, I'm pretty sure, for all 9 innings.
Oh, sure.
So when you talk about the dead ball era, that's probably one big reason why. But to see how the game's evolved, that would be fascinating. Would there be one team that you would like to go see more than any other? Have you ever thought about that? Who'd you like to?
The 27 Yankees.
27 Yankees.
Yeah,
Murderers Row.
But your team you mentioned earlier, the Gas House Gang, and watch how much fun they had playing the game too. That would be a great team to watch. Watch Dizzy Dean pitch a game.
No balls, 2 strikes for Julio with Yoenis Cespedes. And a shot to first. The Braves had him played perfectly. The Braves are shifting this year more than they ever have. Noah Woodward is the kid that's helping the Braves coaching staff and pitching staff formulate the defensive game plan. And I can't remember many times, Joe, where the Braves have been beaten by a defensive shift not working.
Well, I was just thinking about it from Cespedes' standpoint. There's only one guy standing on the right side of the infield, and he hit it right to him.
Two outs for Walker, who's popped out to center.
Yeah, not just teams, but individuals. You know, I'd like to see Walter Johnson really see how hard he threw. Christy Mathewson, Cy Young, for that matter. See how, when he pitched about 5 days a week, see how his arm looked on the 5th day.
Sure. I'd like to see Ty Cobb and the just absolute power and fury that he played the game for the Detroit Tigers.
I rode up the elevator today with an old timer who works here as an usher, and he was talking about his 55th year with the Mets. I said, wow, that's incredible. He said, yep, started in the Polo Grounds. And I said, really? And he said, yep. And I said, you know, I've got pictures of the Polo Grounds at my house, but, you know, I always wondered what it was like. What was it like at the Polo Grounds? He said, it was a dump.
Well,
I said, okay. He said, but I also worked at Ebbets Field, and that was very nice. That was my place. But what a great I got all I needed right there.
Only in New York, right? Nothing in 2 the count as Walker sprays it out of play. Well, I'm with you. This ballpark that is the home of the Mets now, it's gigantic. It is a massive place. But it is such an improvement over Old Shea Stadium, which was right next door. There's nothing better than a big ballpark with a big enthusiastic crowd cheering on a good team, and the Mets the last couple of years have had all of those things hand in hand.
Baseball needs New York teams to be good. I mean, this is kind of the epicenter for baseball for so many years with what the Yankees did, but they need the Mets and the Yankees, or at least one of them, to be going good, just for the good of the game.
Good pitch by Teheran to take care of Neil Walker. That's Julio's 4th strikeout, and this game's headed to the 5th. Atlanta's given Teheran a 2-0 lead as the Braves try to sweep the Mets on Father's Day weekend. Big sun-splashed crowd in New York has seen the Braves jump out 2-0. And it's time for our Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light.
Yeah, and this is hot and cold for Malix. Yeah. And we go back to it. His left-handed, right-handed splits. 3 for 45 against lefties. He could talk to Conforto about that. But right-handers, a 306 average if you take away the left-handed numbers.
And I think the Braves have done an excellent job with Malix Smith of picking spots to give him exposure to those left-handed pitchers. They haven't sent him out there against the Bumgarners and the Kershaws yet. Those numbers tell you he's not ready for them.
Correct.
But it is kind of a catch-22, I would assume, from a hitter standpoint. How am I going to hit them if I don't see them? But when he sees them, he's not hitting them. So what's a manager to do?
Yeah, just keep doing what they're doing. Try to ease into it until he proves that he can handle those. Frustrated right now for that pop-up.
Ender Inciarte's had a great series. The outfield assist in the 7th inning, a double in the 8th inning last night, and then the romp around the bases in the 9th. And then today, an RBI hit against DeGrom to score the game's first run. And he came home on a Markakis single. All that action with 2 outs in the Atlanta 3rd against DeGrom, who's had some trouble in 2-out situations this year. And Teheran has made it stand up with 4 scoreless innings. Great catch by that youngster on Father's Day. And Inciarte waved at that. All of a sudden, DeGrom's figured some things out. He's set down 6 straight. And that's his 4th strikeout.
That was a good back foot breaking ball, it appeared.
He hasn't solved Freddie Freeman, though. The Braves first baseman is halfway to the cycle again. And all of a sudden, Freeman's average is up to 275. Well, that's a challenge, isn't it? Just as that pitch was coming home, a shadow of one of the airplanes taking off or landing at LaGuardia is dashing across the plate.
It came across a second ago between home plate and the mound with Cespedes up there.
And a swing and a miss. 3 up, 3 down again for DeGrom in the 5th. James Loney leads off for New York next. Here's the East up to the minute. As Joe mentioned, the Marlins are only a half game behind the Mets in the divisional race. Of course, Ichiro Suzuki, the man chasing down 3,000 hits, and Giancarlo Stanton has gotten hot. He's had a bunch of hits in the last couple of games, so Braves will have to contend with him.
Well, you knew as soon as the Braves were getting close, he would figure it out.
Yeah. So Bud Norris will face Jose Fernandez on Tuesday, Matt Whistler and Adam Conley on Wednesday. 2-game series, then we're right back to Atlanta for a 4-game set with the Mets. Loney, Flores, and Conforto coming up against Julio. He's throwing a one-hitter.
Good spot for that breaking ball. Just missed. Looked like a slider. Uh-oh, Julio lost his patch, his ribbon. He was sticking it back on, it looked like. Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. He painted 2 of them there. On the bottom, 1 on the side. Good pitch.
Loney fouled that the other way, and the count stays even. And Loney had an awkward swing and is struck out.
And scratching his head like, what in the world was that? I think it was similar to the first pitch he threw him in this sequence. Backdoor breaking ball. And that actually was a foul tip into the glove of Tyler Flowers. That might have been part of his frustration.
So 5 strikeouts for Tehran. Here's Wilmer Flores. Mentioned the early season struggles that Wilmer Flores had. He had 3 hits in April. He had 7 hits in May. Total. He was 10 for 60 the first 2 months of the season. So it's been a struggle for him to get his average up to 245. That's where it stands at the start of today's action.
16 homers last year for the Mets in part-time duty.
Rolled towards short. Ibar's got it, and his throw's perfect. 2 outs.
I'm going to show you that strikeout pitch to James Loney. Be able to show you the grip. My finger eventually gets back to the baseball.
I got to tell you,
perfect backdoor pitch.
That is some incredible camera work,
isn't it?
To follow that hand and all the moving parts and to keep that ball in the middle of the frame.
I know in my camera operating experience that I had earlier this year, it would be a difficult thing for me to do.
Practice. Practice, practice.
Yeah.
Well, here's the only Met that has a hit. In fact, Michael Conforto's the only Met that's gotten on base today. That's how dominant Julio Tehran has been.
Ooh.
He thought that should have been a strike. That one was. Now it's 2-1. Bell tie inside corner, pretty pitch.
Got the call that time. His fastball's had a little extra giddy up on it today. He's been at 94 a couple of times.
And I would think that for a man who's had wrist problems, that would be a very tempting place to keep going.
Well, I don't think the Braves don't know that.
Foul straight back.
95. Trying to make the put away pitch.
Full count now for Michael Conforto, the Mets left fielder, who made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues last year. The 8th place hitter, Kevin Plawecki, is on deck.
Well, it's similar to the pitch count in the third inning when he didn't want to walk him leading off the inning. He made a pitch pretty much in the middle of the plate, and Conforto got a base knock. With 2 out and the catcher due up next, let's see what they do. Backdoor pitch again.
Mile high fly ball, but not much carry to it. Inciarte's underneath, and Julio Teheran continues his dazzling outing in New York. 5 innings of 1-hit baseball. He leads 2-0.
Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day.
Great time to be in New York, and things were hopping over on Coney Island. The annual Mermaid Parade took place.
I'm kind of glad we didn't have a lot of footage of that. I sure like Coney Island.
Now, is it more crowded now or when they have the famous hot dog eating contest? Really? Everybody's saying there's more people there for the hot dog eating contest. Interesting. Nick Markakis, the hitter, starting the Braves 6th. Who's the champion? Joey Chestnut was the guy that used to be the champion. There's a high fly ball, well hit toward right. Granderson glasses down, track, walk, it's gone. Nick Markakis hits one out of here. That extends the Atlanta lead to 3-0.
Remember earlier when I was talking about DeGrom and how effective he is when he keeps the ball down? This appeared to be a changeup that he left upstairs, and Nick just tomahawked it.
Oh boy, Nick.
Oh yeah. Letter high changeup into the bullpen.
Second home run for Markakis, his first since May 20th when he hit one against the Phillies and Aaron Nola.
Second RBI, he's up to 39.
So another donation for the home run challenge, courtesy of Nick Markakis. As the Braves add on, it's 3-0 with Tyler Flowers up there.
It's only the 6th homer allowed by DeGrom.
Well, as you said, he's got to be getting frustrated now. This will be, if it continues, his 9th consecutive start without a win. The Mets have scored only 2 runs for DeGrom in his last 3 starts. Really 3.5 starts if you count this one. And The man he's facing knows all about that this year.
We were talking about that either at the beginning of this series or the end of the Red Series with regard to Matt Whistler and how he's always had the right answers. And he said, I can only control what I can control. The guys are trying their best.
And a swing and a miss takes care of Tyler Flowers for the first out. And to put that in perspective about Tehran, this is only the 3rd time in Julio's last 9 starts that he's been given 3 runs. And the way he's pitching, knock on wood, 3 looks to be like 10.
Well, the last start, 7 innings of 3-hit baseball. It's the 2nd loss he's suffered, giving up only 3 hits. That was a 3-run homer that beat him against the Reds, and I think it was the Dodgers maybe he gave up 3 hits and they were all solo homers.
Chase Peterson, the batter, with 1 in and 1 out. He's popped out and grounded out today. Still ways to go in this one, but it's looking good for Atlanta. The Braves have not swept the Mets in this ballpark since 2012.
Argyle reminds me of Julio's start against the Brewers. He gave up 3 hits and only 1 earned run and got beat 2-1. So make it 3.
The Braves win today would give them a season-long 5-game winning streak. And a bouncer foul. Nice pick by Eddie Perez. It's a full count. Loney at first. And a flip to the pitcher covering, 2 outs. And Chase Darno's the batter. You know, his dad's got to be beaming today. He's got 2 sons in the major leagues. Of course, Travis, the terrific Mets catcher, rehabbing from injury, will probably be back when we get to Atlanta. And Chase Darno, real nice story of persistence. He's battled his share of injuries since being a #1 draft pick. He's getting a chance to play a lot with the Braves, and he's done good work. He's hit safely in 12 of 16 games this month. And this one, a check swing roller right to the mound. And an easy play for DeGrom. He gives up the leadoff home run to Nick Markakis, who has a 2 RBI day today. Middle of the 6th. The Braves extend their lead. It's now 3-0. Time for our Greatness Made Here feature, brought to you by Synovus, the Bank of Here.
How about this trip through the rotation for the Braves? Julio Teheran on Tuesday. Again, the 7 innings, just 3 runs and 8 strikeouts. Bud Norris on Wednesday. Whistler Thursday. Those 2 guys pitched against the Reds and picked up 2 wins at the end of that series. And then John Gant and Aaron Blair the last 2 days here in New York. Blair got a no decision last night, but John Gant got his first major league win against his old club. How about Julio there? That's not too shabby.
He's throwing a one-hitter at the Mets, and now with a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the order, Plawecki, then the pitcher, then leadoff man Curtis Granderson. And Kelly Johnson is on deck. It looks like this will be the end of the line for DeGrom today.
That throwback from Flowers almost was going to hit Julio. He didn't get his glove down in time because he was wondering why the previous pitch wasn't a strike.
Cued off the bat foul. 2 balls and a strike. Antonio Bastardo begins to warm up. Two and two. Julio has struck out 5. Other than Conforto's hit, the Mets do not have another base runner. Counting today's work, Julio's got 43 strikeouts in his last 6 games pitched. 5 of them have come today, and now a payoff to the Mets catcher. And he popped him up with it. Left side of the diamond, who wants it? No, and Ibar, it'll be the shortstop. And Ibar takes care of Plawecki. The Braves have had excellent defensive communication in this series too.
And Julio's made some real good pitches here. The last inning plus when he's been behind 3-2. He got the backdoor breaking ball pop up from Conforto, and he got the infield pop up there from Plawecki on a slider.
So it won't be Kelly Johnson. Had Plawecki reached, they would have taken a chance with Kelly trying to hit a home run. They'll save him for later in the game. Instead, it's Alejandro De Aza. De Aza could use a hit. He's 0 for his last 17. And a ball outside. So the Braves have chased Jacob deGrom. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs earned, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a homer, and a hit batsman. Braves won a game started by Matt Harvey. They won a game started by Steven Matz, and they're winning a game started by Jacob deGrom this weekend.
And deGrom, in 4 of his career 6 starts against Atlanta, 4 of the 6 he'd given up 1 earned run or less.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Julio set down 10 straight. This is just how he pitched in his last start, with the exception of the Jay Bruce homer. Remember, he set down 17 in a row at one point against the Reds. He's on a nice roll right now in the 6th.
Julio's been around so long, you think of him as being a lot closer to 30 than he is. He's only 25.
Broken bat. Fast runner. Ibar's got it. Throws on the run and got his man at first. Good play. 2 outs.
With all the speculation that takes place in baseball, especially the closer you get to the trading deadline and whether or not Julio Teheran might be available, most scouts, when you ask them about Teheran, they will say, well, I think he's probably a 2 or a 3, meaning not an ace. He's the 2nd starter, 3rd starter, something like that for different clubs. Well, the fact is, he's the Braves ace. He's the best the Braves have. And it's hard to imagine that he would be placed out there unless it was just some unbelievable return.
Not only are his numbers on the field attractive, the fact that he's got a very friendly contract in today's era of pitching contracts would make him an extremely attractive commodity.
And for what it's worth, a great kid.
You bet. Two balls and a strike for Curtis Granderson, who has popped out twice. And a roller. Julio's got it. And fires to first in time. 12 up, 12 down. Listen to the Mets fans. Braves fans love that sound in New York. We go to the 7th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. the Georgia Lottery, and Synovus, the bank of here.
3 runs and Julio Teheran, a great combination for the Braves against the Mets this afternoon. FansMLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. That includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV for details.
As suspected, Antonio Bastardo on to pitch for the Mets. He worked here Friday night. Gave up a 2-out base hit to Freeman. Walked Markakis, but able to pitch out of it.
Both the Braves and Mets have an off day tomorrow. I believe New York welcomes Kansas City to town next for a 2-game series before they hit the road to Atlanta.
That is correct, sir.
Ibar had a good cut, didn't get it.
But if the Mets don't want to sink quietly in the East, they may have to get a bat to help their offense. They may have to do something and put a dent in their pitching.
That's foul at first. Well, Zach Wheeler is supposed to come back sometime around the All-Star break. That's still a month away for New York. With Matt Harvey pitching better of late, but still overall this year, I think a tremendous disappointment for New York. Would he be a potential trade candidate for the Mets? And if so, has Matt Harvey pitched himself into a, shall we say, diminished return for this Mets team?
But what about Bartolo Colon?
There's another one.
I don't know what they will do, but they are scuffling offensively right now.
That was a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And again, one other issue that we always have to be conscious of with the Mets, we still don't know as an industry how much of the effect of the Madoff situation has on their ability to add payroll to this team. That's the great beauty of things for New York. As this one's hit toward right, and Granderson's going to have to chase that one into the corner. Ibar's on his way to second, and he'll stand there with a leadoff double. Ibar has 8 hits in his last 21 at bats. And that's a big insurance run out there to start the Atlanta 7th.
Huge insurance run, and watching him run to second base didn't show any ill effects of that injury he suffered when he was hit by a pitch his first time up, when he got hit in the foot.
But to finish the point on the Mets pitching, if you think of it this way, is there a better pitching staff bargain than what the Mets can trot out there? DeGrom, Harvey, Syndergaard, and Matz are all very inexpensive pitchers.
True. All under control.
Teheran's laid down one bunt. He'll try to do it again. He also lined out.
Julio's been very good in this situation the last couple of years. Very, very few miscues for him in trying to get that runner moved up either from first or in this case second.
Time was granted.
Front of the box to try to make sure he gets it fair.
One ball, 1 strike. The Sunday night game is in Chicago, Pirates and Cubs. Jameson Taillon is the man pitching for the Pirates. He's faced the Mets twice this year. He will make his third big league start tonight.
Trying to get it to third base.
And it's perfect. I mean, a beautiful bunt by Julio. And the runner is at third base with one out.
Especially with Loney, a left-handed first baseman, really crowding him. It's almost like he had some backspin on it, like a chip playing golf. Argyle just told me that's 21 sacrifices now for Julio. Look at that. Square at the top of the strike zone. Catch the ball with the bat. Beautiful. The 21 sacrifices, the most in baseball over the last 2 years.
And how about that great shot? Ho-hum. Just left hand like playing the piano, waiting for the pitch to be made. Boy, very relaxed. As Mallex Smith is in there. Again, we showed you Alex's issues against lefties. He'll stay in here against Bastardo. Infield comes in for the Mets. A fly ball of any depth could bring home Ibar and a fourth Braves run. Are you seeing any patterns differently in how lefties pitch, Mallex, as opposed to righties?
Yes, I think we talked about this, maybe not with Bastardo, but with Blevins perhaps the other night, that they're just kind of running the ball away from him, and until he starts hitting the ball the other way and starts looking for the ball middle away and then adjusting, they'll keep doing it. Here's a pitch that looks like they want in.
And he got hit on the hand. Mallex Smith was hit by a pitch. The Mets appealed, thought he swung at that ball. And Mallex is really hurting as he's halfway to the first base bag. Jeff Porter, the Braves athletic trainer, will come out and check him out.
He's kind of pointing toward his thumb. Pitched right on the bat.
Alex trying to get some feeling in that left hand. He's going to stay in the game. And the Braves have him first and third now for Ender Inciarte.
Almost like the tip of his thumb.
Inciarte with an RBI hit his second time up. He's 1 for 3. Up to 8 ribbies for the season. Let's see if Smith is moving. There's one out here in the 7th. Bunted over the screen, or to the top of the screen, I should say. Strike one.
Now, there's a case for Ender, and all of his momentum was coming out of the box, kind of left the bat there to try to do the work. But in this situation, I don't think he's bunting for a hit. If they wanted him to put it down, it's more of a safety squeeze type situation, and meaning hang in there a little longer and get it down.
Loney's holding Smith at first. Flores even with the bag at third.
And for Malix, even if you want to steal right now, the one thing the Braves don't need is a pickoff and leave it at 2 outs and a runner at third. So until the count gets 3-2 or something like that, there's no reason for him to be running.
How in the world did NCRT get out of the way of that pitch? That was close.
That was real close. Right over the top of his hands.
And Bastardo just balked. Bastardo just balked home Ibar. Thank you very much. It's 4-0.
Back, but he didn't continue the motion. Big run.
You bet. Braves have had the leadoff man reach and score in each of the last 2 innings. In fact, 3 leadoff men in the game have scored for the Braves. They now lead 4-0. And 4 has been a magic number for the Braves this year. The Braves are 19-10 this season when they get to 4 runs offensively. And Bastardo's all over the place.
Well, he's missing to the same spot on all these left-handed hitters.
So Robles begins to loosen in the New York bullpen. Smith is going to try to steal third, and that's served foul. Don't forget to stay tuned for Braves Live presented by Xfinity after the game.
Nobody holding him close at second base. No wonder he wanted to take off and go to third.
He's still shaking that hand. That's concerning. Full count pitch.
Cabrera's had to move over and bird dog him a little bit after he broke for third.
Little pop behind third. Wilmer Flores drifts out and in foul ground makes the catch. And there's the second out. Here's Freeman. Freddie is doubled, singled, and struck out. Man, Bastardo has put the 4 corners on this game, hasn't he, though?
was thinking about Malik's once the inning ends defensively, if he'll be able to put his hand in the glove. He's a right-handed thrower, but it's his left thumb it's hurting.
He hasn't been able to put on the batting gloves. He's holding the left batting glove in his right hand as he takes his lead out at second base.
And it's barking.
Freddie fouled that back. 2 balls and a strike. Miami and Colorado, still no score. That game's in the 6th inning down at Marlins Park. Phillies losing again 2-0 to the Diamondbacks. The Phillies have really come back to earth. They've lost 22 of 28 games. Two balls and a strike. Cardinals lead Texas 2-1 in the 4th. Washington's in San Diego later on. Here it's 4-0 Braves trying to sweep the Mets. And now 2-2.
When was the last time that happened? 2012?
September 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2012 in New York. It's the last time the Braves have swept the Mets in this place. Braves win today, it'll be a 5-game winning streak. The last time that happened, swing and a drive deep toward right. Granderson onto the track, leaps and can't hang on as he slams into the wall. He dropped it. Malik Smith scores. Freeman's at second. The Braves get another run. It's 5-0.
The Mets have made some terrific plays today. Some that you just couldn't believe. This was almost another. Granderson had it, but right in the end of his glove, and then when it hit that padded pole for the fence, it knocked it loose. Another double and RBI for Freddie.
So the Braves try to win their 5th in a row, have a great shot at that. The last time they had a 5-game winning streak was last year when they won their first 5 games of the season. And with Freddie Freeman swinging the bat the way he is, it's not surprising that the Braves are putting up a bunch of runs. Ground ball to second. That'll take care of Nick Markakis, but the Braves pick up 2 more runs. Mets fans are not happy at all. Braves fans are loving it. Time for the 7th inning stretch from Citi Field in New York. A big crowd has gathered on a gorgeous Father's Day Sunday, as they do here and in just about every Major League ballpark on their home Sundays. The fans will rise as one and will enjoy a performance of God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 15-year-old Sarah Stevens.
To
of the second, and a very happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, especially mine. And you see both of the teams rocking some new jerseys today with some blue on them. Now, all the clubs have always worn jerseys for special events and holidays, but Mother's Day and Father's Day were just added this year. They wore pink for Mother's Day and blue today. All the clubs will donate all of their proceeds to the Prostate Cancer Foundation. So the teams are looking good, and they're doing good, guys.
I'll say, and the response I'm seeing on social media is Braves fans are loving this combo.
Yeah, it's sharp. Probably North Carolina fans.
Pretty good chance. As Drupal Cabrera leads off for the Mets in the 7th, Julio's got a 5-0 lead. And the first pitch popped up. Ibar at short. Should take care of that. And there's the first out. 13 in a row retired by Julio. And the Braves have made a defensive change. Jeff Francoeur has checked in. He's in left field for Malik Smith. And as soon as, or if we get information as to what exactly is troubling Malik, we'll pass it along.
Nothing better than after a long top half of an inning, pitcher to come out and get one pitch out.
Cespedes has an 0-for-2 game. He is struck out and bounced out. And he takes a strike.
Still got some zip. 92 on his 90th pitch. I know it's warmer today, but it's not oppressive because there's very little humidity, and Julio's had some breaks. You know, he's had some innings where he can sit in the shade in the dugout.
Two balls, two strikes. Low hit game for Julio so far this year was May 1st. 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball against the Cubs, but a no decision. And the Braves won in extra innings 4-3. He's got 1 out in the 7th. He's allowed 1 hit. That was to Conforto leading off the 3rd. Teheran has set down 13 straight. Strike 3 outside corner. Cespedes is retired. 6 strikeouts for Julio. And the Braves and Fox Sports South are asking you, the fans, to nominate and share stories of folks who are going above and beyond to inspire those around you during Community Heroes Week, August 16th through 19th. Each day a different honoree will get a special VIP experience. Go to Braves.com/inspire and nominate that inspirational person. Walker has an 0-for-2 day today, including a strikeout back in the 4th.
That was a great battle between he and Julio. Walker pulled a whole bunch of balls foul and pulled them sharply. And Julio finally took a little bit off a breaking ball and got him to swing over it.
Fly ball well hit center. Inciarte, though, is there, and Teheran is through 7. He's retired 15 straight. He's got a 5-0 lead. work, and that's exactly what's happened.
He's been fantastic from the first pitch of the ball game. He's had a high-riding fastball there for a strikeout. Breaking ball there got Loney. There was the one to get Walker on the strikeout earlier in the game. Completely fooled Loney with that one. Painted a corner on Cespedes there. He's had good fastball, good slider, slow curve early in the count, and a changeup occasionally. No walks.
So Julio and his mates enjoy a 5-run lead as we head to the 8th inning. New pitcher on the mound for New York. It's Hansel Robles. He will face Tyler Flowers, Jace Peterson, and Chase d'Arnaud.
31st game for him. Throws hard. Mid-90s fastball with a slider. Double switch for the Mets. Ty Kelly is at second, batting ninth.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Well, it was a big hit by Tyler last night, wasn't it?
Man. Big as far as the game and big as far as distance, too.
First pitch of the, what was that, the 7th inning off of Jim Henderson.
That's tipped and caught, and Tyler Flowers is down on strikes for a 3rd time today. Robles gets the leadoff man in the 8th. Jace Peterson's 0 for 3. He's popped out to 3rd in foul ground. That was that great play by Wilmer Flores over near the tarp. And there's a shot to right that Granderson will play on a big hop.
That's the kind of swing you wish you could utilize every time up. He was just loose. His hands were loose, and then it was like a fishing rod, you know, flipping that fishing rod out there and casting some bait. Watch how he just flipped the bat down there on that ball, dropped the barrel, but see how loose he was getting into his hitting position. Everything was moving together, and a great swing.
Another huge crowd in New York has been disappointed to this point. 41,576. One ball, 1 strike. And another base hit to right. This one by d'Arnaud. 2 on, 1 out. That's 8 hits for the Braves today, making 9 hits now for Atlanta. And Ibar's coming up. He scored 2 runs.
And intentional or not, that looked great. Looked like Chase was trying to go the other way, try to hit the ball through the hole on the right side, hit behind the runner. Well done.
Julio Teheran is the next scheduled hitter, and he's headed to the on-deck circle. It's good to see. And a strike at the knees.
no one going near the pitching rubber in the Braves bullpen.
Flores over near the wall again, but won't have a play this time. 0-2.
Tell you what, though, that catch he made earlier today is one of the best of the year. Second inning off a foul ball from Jace Peterson.
Bright sun, swirling wind near the fans. Caught it, tumbled right behind the tarp down the third base line. Great play. Off day for the Braves tomorrow. We will join you from Miami Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, got a big golf game tomorrow with Braves trainer Jeff Porter. He better get his rest.
One ball, two strikes. Jeff Porter might be busy before we leave town. I'll explain in a moment. One ball, two strikes. And a swing and a miss. Ibar didn't get it. Malik Smith is being taken for x-rays to check on that left thumb.
Well, the way he was standing at second base with his hand behind his back just kind of gave you the impression that it was just really hurting.
That word coming from the Braves Media Relations Department, Brad Hange. So hopefully we'll get updates on that before we leave air today.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
2 on, 2 outs for Julio Teheran. Great day on the mound, good day at the plate. A couple of sacrifices have led to Braves runs. And he shoots one to the right side and into the seats. What a great catch.
He didn't bring his glove for show. He's putting it to work. Yeah, baby.
Nothing in 2. Julio with a base hit to left. Peterson around third is going to be stopped. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs. What a day for Julio Teheran.
Remember, he lined out earlier today. He had a rocket right at Walker at second base and turned on that fastball that didn't even look like a strike. Barreled it up, hit it so hard that Jace couldn't score.
So Jeff Rancour is the man who checked in for Malik Smith. It's Jeff's first at bat of the game. He hit a long homer here last night. That one gets away. Here comes Peterson to score on a wild pitch.
Well, these fans have a right to boo. The last couple of runs have scored on a balk and now a wild pitch. Not anything Plawecki could do there. He tried to put his body in front of it.
So it's 6-0 Atlanta. 1 ball, 1 strike for Jeff. And a swing and a miss takes care of Francoeur, but New York gift wraps another run. A bases loaded wild pitch brings home Jace Peterson, and Julio Teheran is in complete control, leading 6-0.
Delta Airlines. And Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Our Fox Sports crew finally found the one street in Manhattan that wasn't having road construction.
Well done, sir.
Well, available for the first time, the Braves and Chick-fil-A are offering 2 free tickets to any remaining home game for all members of the Braves Kids Club. Go to Braves.com/kids today and take advantage of this great deal. Viva Julio Teheran today. Boy, has he been excellent.
If you just joined us, he's only faced one batter over the minimum. One base hit, a leadoff single in the 3rd inning. That's it. He's set down the next 15 in a row.
6 strikeouts for Julio. He's gotten James Loney twice. Loney, Flores, and Conforto are coming up.
He has done such a good job, especially on the left-handed hitters, of mixing his pitches today and keeping them off balance, getting them to chase his pitches that are just off being good strikes, but appear to be strikes when they come out of his hand. Excellent breaking balls, excellent change-ups.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that's up and away. 2-1 the count.
It's almost like every time they look for an off-speed pitch, he gets him with a good fastball, and vice versa. They haven't been able to sit on anything.
Fly ball, shallow center, and Ciarte is there. He's got it. Well, as you made that point, Mike Miller had a great shot of Tyler Flowers with the signs behind the plate. Julio's the man that's executing the pitches, but he and Tyler have had an excellent game plan today, and I don't think the catcher gets enough credit when a pitcher pitches a game like this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Tyler put down a slider call, and Julio shook it off for a fastball. He's got a 6-0 lead. He doesn't need to be too tricky at this point. Make him put the ball in play.
Swing and a miss by Flores, who's grounded out twice. He has had no stressful innings. None. Popped up. Darno avoids Tim Tuffle, and at the railing makes a nice catch of his own. 2 out. Julio retired 17 straight in his last start. He's retired 17 straight in this one.
Darno got over there, felt for the railing, so he knew exactly where he was. No trouble.
So here's the only Met to reach, Michael Conforto. And this one's popped in the air toward left. Long run, Francoeur. Jeff's going to get there, and Julio cruises through the 8th. He's retired 18 straight. You should applaud your effort, Julio. This game heads to the 9th. Atlanta in complete command. It's 6-0. Post-game concert, part of the Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines Summer Concert Series. It's one you won't want to miss. Go to Braves.com/concerts and get your tickets today. You see the score as this game moves to the 9th. Ender Inciarte, Freddie Freeman, and Nick Markakis are coming up. That's whacked towards center, but Cespedes is there. Hard hit ball, but it retires Inciarte to start the 9th. 1 out. There is nobody up in the Braves bullpen. This is Julio Teheran's game.
Good. What's his pitch count? Less than 100, isn't it? 102. Okay. Good shape.
3 more hits for Freddie Freeman today. A pair of doubles. An RBI. A swing and a miss.
Well, he got ticked off after last night. He got shut out, didn't get a hit, so he's back on the 3-hit train.
It's headed for the upper deck to the left, and it's 0-2. Another foul ball and almost the exact same spot. Wilmer Flores gives chase. Can't get that one. That's 15 rows deep.
Robles has tried everything he can to mess with Freddie's timing. He's quick pitched him. He has held the ball in almost like in a stretch and then delivered. And then that time he kind of slowed his leg kick down. And he keeps fouling them off.
I mean, he's on every pitch, isn't he?
It's about time for him to circle back to that quick pitch.
And that's off Loney's glove and into right field for a hit. Four more hits for Freddie Freeman. He's 18 for 35 in his last 8 games.
That's pretty good where I come from. After fouling off about 5 or 6 pitches, he got a slider down and ripped it.
That's the 5th 4-hit game for Freeman in his big league career. Cycle last week. That's 2 of them in the last week. Nick Markakis has gotten in on the hitting fun. He's had a 2-hit, 2 RBI day, including a leadoff homer in the 6th inning that gave Tehran a 3-0 lead. It was Nick's 2nd homer of the year. Braves have 11 more hits today.
The home run was instrumental. I mean, in that it gave the Braves a little more breathing room, but it was his 2-out single in the 3rd inning. That was a big blow, make it a 2-run inning off of DeGrom.
Side. Let's take a look at our Bringing the Lumber feature brought to you by Yellowwood.
Change up from DeGrom up in his eyes, and Nick launched it. 2nd homer of the year.
Didn't get that fastball. And that is 4 strikeouts for Robles in relief. Struck out the side in the 8th, gave up a run on 3 hits as well. Tyler Flowers would like to get in on the hitting fun for Atlanta. He and Malik Smith were the only 2 men that started the game that don't have a hit yet. Malik's left after being hit by a pitch. He's getting x-rays on his left thumb. No further update has been given yet. Talking earlier about how much the game of baseball has changed the last 50, 60, 70 years. The strikeout for an offense. Joe DiMaggio played 1,787 big league games. He struck out 3 times in a game once, and that was on this day in 1942. You know what his strikeout high was as a big league hitter for a season?
I do not.
39. And that was his rookie year. He finished with 369 lifetime strikeouts. That is one dramatic change. So we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. 6-0 Atlanta the lead. We'll see if Julio can finish off the shutout bid. Has thrown a one-hitter at the Mets. He's set down 18 consecutive New York hitters. And before we tell you more about his day, we remind you to sign up your kids for the free Braves Kids Club and get 2 free tickets for any remaining home game at Turner Field. Plus, take advantage of some great Kids Club member perks like VIP access to Kids Run the Bases, a Freddie Freeman jersey, and batting practice passes. Go to Braves.com/kids today.
He will face the bottom part of the order if he wants to try to finish up this shutout. Plawecki, then Kelly, who came in defensively in a double switch, and then back up to Granderson.
A strikeout and a pop out for the Mets catcher today.
Can you remember any hard hit balls? There was I think a pop fly hit to center that Inciarte ran under, and maybe the DeGrom's to left.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Julio has struck out 6. He hasn't walked anybody. He hasn't hit anybody. They have 1 base runner through 8 innings.
Yeah. Except for 1 pitch, he's been unhittable. And that was on a 3-2 count to a leadoff batter that he didn't want to walk.
And your point about fly ball outs in the game, I've got the Mets with 11 pop outs in this game. Not fly outs, just little lazy pop ups. That looked pretty good. That's driven well foul and out of play. The last one-hitter thrown by the Braves was Matt Whistler and Arodys Vizcaíno on May the 3rd. The last complete game one-hitter, Jair Jurgens, against the Orioles in 2011 by the Braves.
No kidding.
And Tehran gets Plawecki. That's 19 up and 19 down. And there will be plenty of great things to talk about on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Next, Julio's 7th strikeout. Here's Ty Kelly. Again, it is worth repeating, the Braves came into this series knowing they had to face Matt Harvey, Steven Matz, and Jacob deGrom. The Braves have won the first 2 games of this series with some excellent pitching of their own.
It's one thing to have a pitch or two working on any given day. Julio's had everything working to both sides of the plate. Great location.
That's popped foul beyond the Mets dugout on the first base side, and now Kelly's way behind 1-2.
It's rare today that he's been behind in the count 2-0.
Ground ball to short. Ibar had Kelly played perfectly. There's the second out. 20 in a row.
Just spectacular.
And here's Curtis Granderson. He is 0 for 3.
How would you feel if you were the Mets and know that you're coming to Atlanta next week, and one of the guys that's going to be pitching is Julio Tehran? Wouldn't be too fired up about it, would you?
No, I would not. That'll present another challenge for both Julio Tehran and Jacob deGrom. It's said that the toughest thing for a pitcher to do is to face the same opponent in back-to-back outings. So we'll see how things match up when we get back to Turner Field after our series with Miami. One ball, one strike.
That other one hitter you mentioned was against the Mets, right?
The Matt Whistler game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might have been Matt's debut. Excuse me, that was this year. I beg your pardon.
Right.
This year. Whistler had an 8-inning, I think 2-hit game against the Mets last year.
Yes,
in his first big league game. These low-hit games are so frequent against New York, you tend to get them mixed up. Julio's a strike away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The hitters are telling you all you need to know about Julio's stuff. There is not a whole lot of eagerness to dig in.
No, and they're getting way out on their front foot. They're just, when they do foul one off, it's like they are so far out in front they're rolling it over to their dugout. Wants another slider. Overcooked that one. And has gone to a full count. Don't walk him. many signs it takes to get to what Julio wants here. Fastball.
Anderson covered it and stays alive. It's still 3-2.
And at 118 pitch count. Season high, shouldn't be a problem. It's been an easy day for him.
Trying to climb the ladder. Granderson stays alive.
Probably ball 4.
Teheran trying for the first complete game for the Braves this year. He's also seeking the 4th shutout for the Braves staff.
Backdoor slider.
And Granderson skies that one toward left center field. Francoeur says he's got it. And Julio Teheran goes the distance. A 6-0 one-hit masterpiece as the Braves have swept the Mets.
Just brilliant. Great job by Tyler Flowers. Braves defense really not tested that much today. Just a brilliant effort.
So Julio Teheran fires the first complete game of the year for the Braves, and Atlanta now riding a 5-game win streak into South Beach Tuesday night.